Hello everyone, welcome to a new discussion video. This is my first discussion that I've done in like 6 months. The last one I did was on the Thomas & Friends Wood and the Thomas Wooden Railway 2.0 versions of Kenji. But now I'm finally doing another discussion video. This one is on more than just a wooden railway item. I'm going to be doing the wooden railway and Ertl versions of the Horrid Lorries. So I have a few different items here that I'm going to be showing off. So let's get started. So I will start off with the wooden railway Horrid Lorries first. So starting with Lorry 1. So Lorry 1, first off, has a sad face, and if you look close, you can obviously tell that he's got like some stubble on his chin, right there. He's got windshield wipers on his windshield, and you can see a steering wheel right there. Even though steering wheels are actually on the left, supposed to be on the left side. I don't know if that's like a different thing for like the UK vehicles, or if this was probably just some kind of error on the designer's side. I don't know. But anyways, I'm not going to worry about that. He's got like a wheel arch here. And then he's got his truck bed with the blue piece of Sodor shipping cargo. And he's got Lore 1 underneath him. In the episode Horrid Lorry and on the Ertl models and probably other Lorry models, the nameplate is supposed to be black with the letters in white. I don't know. It's probably due to the fact that he has a black chassis, and this nameplate is on the very bottom part of the chassis. That would make sense to have it be white so you can read it easier, or tell that it's a nameplate much easier. He's got the road traction wheels, and yeah, onto his flatbed here, which just says flatbed. You can obviously take these ends on this side and use it to flip the top part of the flatbed over to dump the cargo. Just like that. And I'm not going to go into like super big detail about this, because this is more of a discussion video discussing the details and the looks of the lorries. I'm not going into like detail about like how the lorries were sold and which one was rare and which one wasn't. There's a video on Thomas Wooden Railway's channel that discuss which of the Wooden Railway Horrid Lorries is the rarest. He does a better job of explaining that stuff than I probably can. So if you want to check that out, you can. But anyways, moving on to Lorry 2. He also has about the same face as Lorry 1, which is a letdown. I mean, you could have had like a devious smirk face to like give them a bit more difference, obviously. And anyways, yeah, he's got a piece of fuel cargo, and it says Lorry 2 there, obviously, and on the bottom here. Lorry 2 was only sold in the Sodor service station destination. And then on Lorry 3, he was never included in any destinations or any sets or individually. The only way, like I said though, I'm not going super into detail on how you could find these lorries back in the day. But anyways, Lorry 3 was only sold in like a promotional 3-pack with Boko and Tiger Moth. But anyways, Lorry 3 has a cross face and he's got a white piece of, like, I would maybe call this like a parcel or something. I mean, it's not necessarily like a mail package or whatever, but it just kind of resembles that generic parcel cargo that lorries seem to have on their truck beds. Yeah, so there are magnets on the bottom of the fuel and white pieces of cargo, while Lorry 1's cargo piece has the magnet on the top. I mean, since the fuel cargo is arched, you can't necessarily get a magnet in the middle. And since this cargo has like a bit of a different, it's just bumpy on the top and on the side, so it wouldn't be easy to get a magnet in there either. But anyways, the headlights on these lorries greatly resemble ears, which is kind of funny. Yeah, they really do make it look like the lorries have ears. But anyways, yeah. So those are the wooden railway versions of the Horrid Lorries. And before I move on to the Ertl ones, I do have some recent eBay purchases here. I have a new in box lorry one, which I still haven't taken out of the packaging yet. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with this. I mean, I had a reason why I bought an extra lorry one, as well as this one. I bought the Sodor Recycling Center, which was in used condition, but it came with mostly everything except for the piece of road track that goes onto this side of the destination. But that's alright, it doesn't matter, and for all I know, I could just put a wooden railway piece of rail track next to the destination instead of roadway. But anyways, this destination is a discussion for another time, but the reason why I bought another lorry one as well as this lorry one was for like some custom purposes, but I'll explain those probably at the end. So anyways, I have a used condition lorry one which has a bit more edge wear, and then this new in box lorry one, which of course I still haven't taken out yet. But there is a character card right there behind with the pant lid. And yeah, I'll just get on to what I'm planning to do with these two lorry ones in a minute. Now on to the Ertl versions of the Horrid Lorries. We'll start with lorry 1 here. This Horrid Lorry, this lorry 1 was sold based on his comeuppance in the episode Horrid Lorry, where he reversed into the sea and got covered in seaweed and stuff. So he comes on a flatbed, an extra flatbed, since he was placed on a flatbed at the end, when Thomas is shown calling the Horrid Lorries smashed, broken, and sunk. So this one would be sunk, since he fell into the ocean. And so anyways, he's got a sad face, of course, but for one thing, his mouth isn't black, so like his mouth is open. He's got brown and green and kind of yellowish paint on the inside of the truck bed here, but he's just all dirty, particularly on just his right side, strangely. He's also got the nameplates in black on the Ertl models, and on the front and back. Well, on the back part here, there wouldn't exactly be room to put the nameplate on on the chassis part. But anyways, yeah, his headlights are a little bit lower. They're around the middle part of the face. He's got a bit of dirty brown and paint on his left side, and he's got like, I think these might be like fuel tanks on the side. They kind of look like they would be where the fuel would go or be stored. There's even like, I'm just looking at this off camera here, there's even like a little bit of smudgy paint, like seaweed, covering on the bottom of his chassis here. So that's pretty interesting. Anyways, the flatbed real quick. Yeah, nothing too super special about it. It's got gray or silver buffers. And yeah, Lorry 1 just fits perfectly on it. He's got a little bit of room to move front and forward and backward. Now on to Lorry 2 and Lorry 3. Now, Lorries 2 and 3 have pretty similar faces, but Lorry 2 looks a little more cheerful, happy, while Lorry 3 has a bit of a devious look on it with his eyebrows. So really, Lorry 2's face is kind of the most inaccurate, because they're not like joyfully happy, because they're being horrid to the engines. They're insulting them. They're saying like, we're taking over your jobs, you're not useful anymore. So yeah, there's no shot with any of these Horrid Lorries in the episode where they've got a joyfully happy face. But anyways, so Lorry 2 has that same kind of cargo that Lorry 3 has. But one of the disappointing parts is that this cargo is not removable. It's like screwed into his truck bed or something. Or it's like glued in there, I don't know. But yeah, I'll have something to say. I'll elaborate a little more about the disappointment of this in a second. But anyways, Lorry 3 here. Here's a closer look at his face. I mean, he does kind of have a couple like little black smudges there from play time back when I first got him. But anyways, his piece of cargo is kind of similar to Lorry 2's, but it's more of a, looks like an actual crate or box, and it's removable. It's got a little loop on the top here for like a crane to pick it up, or maybe even Harvey's model could pick it up. But anyways, now one of the, and real quick, it's got like a little line here in the almost the middle part, which I don't know what that's all about. Is it like there are separate compartments on this crate, in this crate here, that are holding different things? Maybe. I guess that's up for us to determine or decide. But anyways, the disappointing part about Lorry 2, aside from the face being inaccurate, is that since his cargo is unremovable, if one was to ever like try to make an Ertl remake of Horrid Lorry, you're not going to have Lorry 2 be able to carry rocks like he was in Horrid Lorry. I mean, if they had switched the cargo types of Lorry 2 and Lorry 3 around, it would have been way much better, because then you could put like small rocks in Lorry 2's truck bed, and Lorry 3 would actually look like he's carrying flour, even though he kind of would look like he's doing the same here. But having this load on Lorry 3, and with it being unremovable or not, would make sense, because it looks like he's carrying flour, and then being able to have an empty truck bed on Lorry 2 so you could put in rocks would be way better in for the Ertl range, so you could do a remake and have Lorry 2 be carrying rocks. So yeah, that is a pretty big letdown, but it is what it is. Oops, this flatbed is kind of staying a little unsteady. Okay, there we go. Anyways, that's probably going to do it on discussing the details and the features of the Ertl versions of the Horrid Lorries. But before I end this video, I did say I was going to elaborate about my extra versions of Wooden Railway Lorry 1. So I will pull up this Lorry 1 right here and place this Lorry 1 off the, take this Lorry 1 off the flatbed and put them side by side. In case you haven't guessed it by already, I'm going to use at least one of these extra Lorry 1s as a custom, used it for a custom to make a wooden railway version of Ertl Lorry 1. So, because if I should try to do a remake, or more likely a bit of a rewritten adaptation of Horrid Lorry for like my Wooden Railway videos, like in my series, like how I did with Trust Thomas, I would probably want a Lorry 1 custom that looks like he just fell into the sea. So yeah, this is going to be a bit interesting, but I'm wanting to try it out and see how it goes. So yeah, that's why I have one extra Lorry 1. The reason I have this other one here, this one is more up for debate at the moment, but I was thinking that I may also want to make a bit of a custom of Lorry 3 for at the end of Horrid Lorry, where after he breaks down, he's a bit white, splattered in white stuff like flour, and he's got a sad face in like his final shot, where Thomas is calling him broken, cause he's got like the sad Lorry 1 face, and he's a bit covered in flour. So that was kind of like the reason why I bought another Lorry 1 to possibly make a custom of Lorry 3 when he's been called broken. I would have to do a bit of changing on the nameplate though, which would probably be tough since the lettering is so small. But yeah, it's up for debate now. I thought it sounded like an interesting idea at first, but I'm honestly not quite for sure right now if I'm actually still going to attempt that custom. Because, I mean, it would be a pretty short-lived custom in terms of usage for videos. So, it might not end up happening, but yeah, I'm not so sure right now. But, for right now, my plan is to try to make a Ertl Lorry 1 Wooden Railway custom. And until that happens, I want to thank you guys for watching this discussion video. Oh yeah, something else I wanted to briefly mention real quick. As we know, Lorry 1 in the Wooden Railway range was the only lorry sold individually. He was included in several sets and destinations like the Sodor Recycling Center. And he was in some other ranges like Tommy and Tagalong and kind of some other, maybe a couple others that I can't actually think of right now. But he was the only lorry sold in that range and no Lorry 2 and 3. Like, I do believe Wooden Railway and Ertl are the only ranges that sold Lorries 2 and 3. And the reason why I would think that Lorry 1 was the only one made for some other ranges like Tagalong and he was the more commonly sold Horrid Lorry. The reason I think that was the case was because he's the first lorry in the trio, so it would make sense that he's like the lorry that's most likely to be in your collection, or like be the only one sold in a range like Tomy or Tagalong, because like if there was no lorry one made for Tomy or Tagalong, and instead you got like lorry 2 or lorry 3 as the only lorry in that range, kids may be wondering, or other people may be wondering, where's lorry 1? Or if it was lorry 3 as the only lorry, you would be like, what about lorry 2? So yeah, it would make sense that lorry 1 is like the main lorry that's sold in like Tomy and Tagalong, and being like the most commonly found lorry that's not the rarest in the wooden railway range. So yeah, that would make sense in my opinion, and I would think you guys might agree. But anyways, yeah, that's going to do it for this discussion video on the Ertl and wooden railway Horrid Lorries. I'll probably make another discussion video in the near future about the Load and Sort Recycling Center. But until then, this is Popular Paxton signing off. See you guys.